The emergency beacon had gone silent 3 days ago. Commander Nali stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Enforcement Station, watching the frozen moon of Krevak 7 spin slowly beneath her. Somewhere down there, a human was stranded. Alone. Unarmed. On a moon where the apex predators had evolved specifically to hunt warm-blooded prey. Still no signal? Breck asked, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he approached. The Threnian officer's exoskeleton clicked softly with each step. Nothing. Nali replied, her mandibles twitching with concern. 72 hours since the mining shuttle crashed. Protocol says we declare her deceased and move on. But you won't. Would you? Humans are different. They don't die when they're supposed to. Breck had served with humans before. He'd seen what they called stubbornness firsthand during the Keldor campaign. When do we launch the rescue team? Now. They found the crash site easily enough, a blackened scar across the ice plains. But no body. No blood trail. Just footprints leading toward the frozen canyons, where the Krevak stalkers made their dens. Nali felt her secondary heart skip. She went toward the predator zones? Breck's translator barely masked his disbelief. Humans, Nali muttered, adjusting her thermal scanner. Always running toward danger. Instead of away from it, the trail led them deep into a canyon system, where crystalline ice walls refracted the pale sun into 1,000 dancing lights. The temperature had dropped to -40 degrees, fatal to most species within minutes. Yet the humans' tracks continued, steady and purposeful. Then, they heard it. Laughter. Nali and Breck exchanged confused glances. Predator zones didn't echo with laughter. They echoed with screams. Following the sound, they emerged into a sheltered alcove carved into the ice. What they saw defied every xenobiological principle Nali had studied in her 2 centuries of life. The human Lieutenant Sarah Chen, according to her file, sat cross-legged in the center of the alcove, wrapped in a thermal emergency blanket. But she wasn't alone. Surrounding her were 6 Krevak stalker cubs, each the size of a full-grown Terran wolf, with obsidian fur that absorbed light and razor-sharp claws designed to shred through hull plating. And they were playing. One cub pounced on another, tumbling across the ice in a mock battle. 2 more were engaged in what appeared to be a game of chase, but the strangest sight was the pair curled up beside the human, their massive heads resting on a small, remarkably ordinary-looking pillow. Is that? Breck started. Her emergency kit pillow. Nali finished. She survived 3 days on a death world. By befriending the apex predators with a pillow? Sarah looked up, her human features breaking into a wide smile. Oh, thank God! I was starting to think my beacon was completely fried. She gently moved the sleeping cubs, each of which could have torn her throat out in an instant, and stood up. You guys have perfect timing. The cubs were just about to have their afternoon rotation. Rotation? Nali descended slowly, keeping her plasma rifle at the ready. The adult stalkers were nowhere to be seen, but that meant nothing. They could be watching from any shadow. For the pillow, Sarah explained, as if it were the most natural thing in the galaxy. See? When I crashed, I managed to grab my emergency kit. First night, I found this alcove, which was great for shelter. But then the cubs showed up. Their mother was, well, she was curious, but cautious. Didn't attack. Which was weird, right? Weird doesn't begin to cover it. Breck muttered. Anyway, the cubs were immediately fascinated by my pillow. I think it's the texture all soft and foreign to them. The first one that curled up with it looked so peaceful that the others got jealous. So I established a rotation system. Every 4 hours, a different pair gets pillow time. They've been following it religiously. No. As if to demonstrate, one of the playing cubs approached, made a soft, chittering sound, and gently nudged the sleeping pair awake. They rose with surprising grace, and the new cubs immediately claimed the pillow, circling it 3 times before settling down with contented rumbles. You created a sacred ritual. With predator cubs. Using your pillow, Nali said slowly, trying to process the sheer absurdity. Well, when you put it that way, it sounds weird. Sarah laughed. But it worked. The mother stalker has been bringing me food. Apparently, I'm the weird alien that makes her cubs happy. So I'm under her protection now. I've been perfectly safe. A deep, resonant growl echoed through the canyon. From the shadows emerged a Krevax stalker adult, 3 meters of pure predatory evolution. With eyes that glowed like dying stars and claws that could carve through reinforced steel. Every weapon on the rescue team trained on the creature. But Sarah simply raised her hand. Easy. Mama. They're friends. They're here to take me home. The stalker regarded Nali and Breck with those ancient, knowing eyes. Then, impossibly, it sat down, waiting. I think, Sarah said carefully. I need to explain the pillow situation to her. And maybe leave it behind? The cubs really have gotten attached. You want to leave your emergency pillow with apex predators, Breck stated. I mean, they've protected me for 3 days. Seems like a fair trade. Sarah approached the mother stalker with the kind of confidence that made Nali's combat instincts scream in alarm. She knelt before the massive creature and placed the pillow on the ground between them. The stalker lowered her head, sniffing the object that had kept her cubs calm and content. Then Sarah did something that would be recorded in xenobiological journals for the next century. She reached out and scratched behind the stalker's ear. The creature's eyes closed, and a deep, rumbling purr vibrated through the canyon. Good mama, Sarah whispered. Take care of them, and thanks for not eating me. On the shuttle back to the station, Nali filed her report with trembling claws. Breck sat in silence, still processing what they'd witnessed. How? Nali finally asked. Sarah shrugged, wrapped in a proper thermal coat now. I didn't. But here's the thing about being human, we're really good at reading social cues. Those cubs weren't hunting me. They were curious. And curiosity? That's the foundation of connection. You gambled your life on a pillow and curiosity. I gambled my life on the idea that even apex predators can appreciate something soft after a long day of being terrifying. Sarah smiled. Besides, you don't survive on Earth without learning one crucial lesson. Every creature, no matter how dangerous, just wants to feel safe and comfortable. Even the ones with 6-inch claws and a taste for warm blood. Nali looked out at the frozen moon, where 6 cubs were undoubtedly still rotating through their sacred pillow ritual, and realized something profound. Humans didn't survive because they were the strongest or the fastest. They survived because they could find connection in the most impossible places. And sometimes, that connection required nothing more than a pillow and the audacity to share it.